And a very good evening to you. Welcome. This is the Pro Synth Network live show, episode 290, and we have got just a very, very special show for you today. Before we get into all of that, let's just get all the boring housekeeping rubbish out of the way. So give us a like and a comment if you want to during the show. If you have a question for myself or our guest today, do stick a comment or a question into the comment section of YouTube or Facebook or Twitch, wherever you're watching us from. If you'd like to give us a thumbs up, that'd be fantastic. Apparently it works better when you're live, so give us a thumbs up in the stream. And if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, if you're new here, if you've come here especially for today's guest, then welcome, thank you. And if you enjoy what we do consider subscribing to the channel and hitting that bell to get the notifications. And if you know somebody who might enjoy this kind of thing and doesn't already watch the channel, then please feel free to share the link around. That would be fantastic. We are community based, so we rely on donations and the generosity of our viewers. And you can help us out in a number of ways. The best way to do it, I guess, is on our Patreon page. So if you go to patreon.com/ProSynth Network, minimum $2 a month, and you get access to exclusive video content, patches for your synthesizers, hardware, software, sampler instruments. We got a brand new one that we put up last week for Halloween, so there's some really cool stuff in there, and you get all of that if you just subscribe for a couple of bucks a month, which is nothing really, and it all helps to keep us on the air. The other way you can do that is, of course, you can buy merchandise. We've got a range of t-shirts and hoodies and sweatshirts and drinks mats and drinks bottles and we haven't got underwear. We've got bikinis, but we haven't got underwear. But yeah, you can get anything with the Pro Synth Network logo on. And again, we're able to take a little bit off the top of that, and it all helps to keep the channel up and running. You can follow us across on all the social media networks, all the decent ones anyway: Facebook, Blue Sky, Twitch, Instagram, Threads, TikTok, although I still don't know why we're still on TikTok, because we don't do anything there. But we are there if you want to go and have check out some of the videos we put up. But give us a follow on any of those. Facebook is the one that we tend to mostly be active on. So yeah, come and see us there. And as I said before, if you have a question for our guest today, and I'm sure there's probably going to be quite a few, if you can stick a big capital Q at the beginning of your question, it just helps my tired eyes pick it out and throw it into the appropriate bucket, and then I can bring it in. And just to let you know, I'm flying solo today. I've given Andy and Kent the night off because we've got a very special guest, and I really wanted to sort of spend time talking to them about, well, we'll find out what we're talking about in just a moment. So it's just myself and our guest. So please. So I was thinking of doing an introduction. I know this guy. I've known him for some years now, and I know he's a very humble guy, and I don't want to blow smoke up his backside, but he is one of the songwriters from Frankie Goes to Hollywood. He was the guitarist in the band as well, and of course, Frankie Goes to Hollywood's debut album, the audacious Welcome to the Pleasuredome, is receiving almost its 41st anniversary. It's kind of just in the 40th, just coming to the end of that year, reissue. And it's a very special reissue because this time the entire band, I'm told, has had involvement with this project. So it's getting the thumbs up from all 5 members, which is, I think, a first. But we'll ask our guest that a little bit later on. I'm just going to shut up now and introduce the one and the only Brian Nash from Frankie Goes to Hollywood.
Hey,
how you doing, mate?
Rob? No, great. I'm just I could calling you 20 minutes ago from traffic. It wasn't looking great.
It was a little bit squeaky bum, wasn't it?
Through. I thought leaving London, I'd have left all those traffic problems behind. But hey ho, we're here.
That's it, because you're back living in Liverpool. You've been there. You've been back for a few years because you did come down south for a while, didn't you?
I was down in London for 34 years. Quite funny, like getting in cabs with people, and you say like, "Oh, I've only been back in Liverpool 6 years," and the driver will go, "Where you?" Go, "I was away for 34 years," which makes me sound like a murderer. like I just got out. Yeah, but nobody's actually said to me, "Well, what did you do time for?" No. And you know what? My time in London never felt like doing time.
No, you had a good time down there.
Time to come home. Yeah. It's one of the greatest cities in the world. You know.
Yeah. But so is Liverpool. I mean, what brought you back to Liverpool? I mean, what was the draw?
I think initially was my mother-in-law was getting on a bit, and,
Right.
and my wife wanted to come back. And it kind of, the reason and how we came back kind of just popped up in a conversation. And it had been something that people had been thinking, apart from myself, about wanting to do it. And I just went, I'll do that. And so we did. And we came up here and rented a place for a year to make sure we were doing the right thing. But after 3 months, we knew we'd done the right thing. But then COVID happened, and we got stuck in this rented flat for 3 years, which... But you know what? I've got no complaints. I have not woken up a day since I moved here and gone, I missed that, or that was a bad idea.
Yeah.
And you know, did you come to my gaff when you came down?
I did, yeah.
Come
yeah.
Here?
I didn't come inside, but yeah, we it's a lovely place.
You know, it's so close to town, so there's so much going on. I mean, like tonight is the first night of this River of Light festival. We've got a load of people putting these light installations, and it's become a thing in Liverpool, and it's great that Liverpool can draw that. And of course, the waterfront and some of the historical locations in the city really lend itself to these kind of events. So, you know, there'll be an exchange flags behind the town hall and St. Nicholas's Church, but there's a little route and it's planned. And yeah, I took the grandkids on it last year, me and my missus, and they were buzzing on it.
Nice, excellent stuff. Well, listen, we're going to talk, you know, Frankie mostly, I guess. And thanks for
cheers, by the way.
Oh yeah, cheers. All the best.
Let's have one of them.
There you go. Yeah.
Happy Friday.
Yeah, indeed. Thank you, by the way, to Mick C in the chat, who's just donated 200. What's that? Swedish krona? I think. I don't know what that translates to, but thank you very much. Yeah, it could be. No, but listen, that's great. Thank you so much for that. Also, Tommy Toons has joined as a YouTube channel member. So great. You're going to get access to all the free stuff as well. And one of our moderators has donated £5 PSM boxes for the moment. We'll have a look, see if we can do some merchandise in that regard. Listen, to everyone that's watching, say, if you want to ask a question about anything that you want to ask Brian about, then please do put it in the chat. Put a capital Q in front of it. I'm on me Todd tonight, so if I miss it, post it again just in case. But I will try and keep on top of all of that stuff. Right, so as I said, this time next week, we will all be in possession of, and I'm sure you're already in possession of, this wonderful new reissue of Welcome to the Pleasuredome. And I think it's fair to say it's had a few reissues over the years. But this one's quite special because, as I'm told, you were all involved. So you, Ped, Mark, Holly and Paul were all involved in putting this together. And I just wanted to sort of understand what that involvement was.
Well, it actually, when I was renting over the road from here, it was during COVID, and the ZTT catalogue was bought by Universal. So we're now at Universal Records. And because our relationship with ZTT for the previous 30 odd for 40 years was so toxic, we were never asked an opinion about anything that went out. It was just out, you know, you weren't even sent anything about the artwork or anything like that. It just went, you know, I'd find out when you found out. So when it got moved over to Universal, we had a couple of Zoom meetings with people at Universal and said, look, you know, we've never had a relationship with a record label. We don't know how that works. But one, you know, we want to have a better relationship and we want to be involved. And our shock and deal was improved, and we're involved in it now. So in terms of me doing this with you today, I love talking about it anyway, and I know that people are interested in it, so why not discuss it? But this is a way of basically just saying, hey, you know, we're here to do promotion, and you know, it's not just about talking to the Guardian or anything. It's about talking to people who are genuinely probably more interested in what you're doing. And of course now, you know, even if it's just me and you in the room, it's something that's out there, and it sticks, and it's a reference source, and you know, it becomes something else after we put the phone down, or after we shut the lid, you know. But absolutely. We were consulted, going back to the question, when it was started put together, there was a couple of people involved in it, and we got sent this massive spreadsheet of stuff that was on it, and stuff went backwards and forwards, and like, no, you don't want that on there. But it was quite a difficult it's quite difficult, I think, for if you're in the band and you're trying to decide, well, one, you're kind of looking about stuff that you think shouldn't be out there. For example, I'll give you an example. The interviews on the B-sides of Relaxing Two Tribes, and there was bits added to that had never been heard before, and it's like, nobody wants to hear that. It was gimmicky, and it was back then, and it's kind of like, do I want to hear does my 62-year-old self want to hear my drunken 21-year-old self talking nonsense? And it's like, no, and I don't really want anyone else to hear that. So we take that out. You're going to go and find something else to put it in its place. So that was just an example of it. But on the other side of it, things like Steve Wilson's involvement, and a 30-minute version of Pleasuredome and Steve Wilson reimagining this album, and because I know people in that industry who have been into 5.1, I kind of knew all about Steve Wilson and how that he was at the forefront of this, and it's a real coup to have him to do it. And the fact that he wants to do it, because I'm sure he's not short of work in reinventing the past for people, and he, he's been at the vanguard of it, and it's brilliant. I love the stuff that he's doing, and kind of taking the lead with some, but I can't listen to it because I haven't got an Atmos system.
Come over. When you're next down this way, come over, we'll have a listen.
Yeah, Rob, because if I come over and see you, the last thing I want to be doing is listening to Atmos mixes when there's a pub within walking distance.
Oh, there is plenty.
So
absolutely.
So that was the other task of being here. Is like 7 hours of Frankie. Have a listen to that. And listening to it, and hearing little glitches. We know about that, or that one kind of fades a bit quickly. But it's not really knowing what people would like and say, like, okay, Rob, do you want to hear the 30-minute mix of Pleasuredome? And you go, of course I do. But it's kind of, I think I can put myself in the fan's shoes a bit more, because I know people like yourself. There's people who are in my phone who are Frankie fans, who started out as being Frankie fans, and people who came to my gigs when I was doing my own stuff and supported me and bought my stuff. These people are friends of mine now, and it's like, it's good kind of getting a little bit of a bounce back off them. So, what do you think about this? But there's, I think there's, I think one of the things that I wanted to mention, which never made the cut, which was some rehearsal tapes that Mark O'Toole had, which were just recorded in the cells where we enjoyed a few libations.
We did.
In one of those small cells with a beatbox, with a condenser microphone, recording him, Ped and Holly playing Two Tribes, Lover's Got a Gun, and Disneyland. And that was not everybody was in favour of having those recordings out there, which is a bit of a shame, because it's just, you're listening to Mark and Ped playing Two Tribes, and you can hear the song there. Any musician could hear the song and go, everything that is in that song is in just this bass and drums. Yeah. And it also proves what an amazing rhythm section they were. People kind of get, the musicianship of Mark and Ped and myself, all of us kind of gets lost in this, the machines and doing all this. And, the drum machines are great and it makes sound brilliant, but it still doesn't take away from the fact, an outstanding rhythm section they were. Yeah. And given their ages as well. We're talking 19 and 20 here.
I know, kids, basically.
Outrageous.
Yeah. Now, I know that anyone that gets the box set, I've heard a few of the tracks that have been released from the John Peel and the Kid Jensen sessions. And I remember hearing them back in the day, and like you say, there was a band there. There's this kind of mythology built around Frankie, isn't there? That they didn't play on the records, and it was all Trevor Horn and his gang. And yes, there was a lot of that, but you were a proper band, and you were knocking it out before this, and all they did was come in and just finesse it, do it slightly differently, and commercialize it a little bit more, because I remember seeing you guys on the Tube, in Liverpool, in the boxing ring, and it was just raw energy. It was just so, we were just like gobsmacked. Who are these guys? We've never seen heard of them before, but the energy was there. And I guess Trevor and his team saw that potential, and what's the term? They took the rough edges off, maybe, and just made it into a commercial thing.
But this is a thing that I say to musicians. I was with two girls last week, listening to them play an outfit called Me and Debo, Deboe. They're on Spotify, and like a female Simon and Garfunkel. And it's about this thing about people, young bands, when they go into the studio, they go in and record their song. They don't make a record. And there's a massive difference between those two things. Of that, and it applied to us when we go into the studio. We don't know about making a record, but those guys on the other side of the glass have made loads of them.
Yeah,
brilliant records, and that's why we're here.
Yeah.
But if without Trevor Horn, we're never signing that record deal. That we were all fans of the work that he did. Dollar loved the Dollar productions.
Yeah,
and it's like, that's a big thing. But we go in and record it, and it's like, we don't know how to work in the studio, and it's like, well, what you're playing in the second verse is exactly what you played in the first verse, and this is the thing that you've been playing for the last 6 months, and this is how it goes. So you're not really open to that. So when I go to see musicians and I go like, just you put a stop there, or do something here, or make that twice as long there, and change a little bit of that, and it's not so much about making records with them, because I can't commit to doing that. But in terms of them performing live and introducing dynamics into what they do and stuff that I've been doing this for years and I know all about it. And if it is a skill I have, it is in doing that live arrangement thing and back and vocal arrangements, and getting people to try different stuff. And it was I was saying to them, for very many years post Frankie, I was an electrician because that's what I was trained to do, and I went back into doing it. And all the skills that I learned about being whilst I was being an electrician, the shortcuts, the finesse about quality of work and all of that is going to die with me, because I had nobody to pass those skills on to. And in terms of being a musician, I'm not coming in looking for publishing credits or the arrangements, and I don't want to do, I don't want to come in and produce your album. I just want to be this guy to go, look, try that and do that. And at the end, you're not going mad. All those records that we love from the past. And the example I always use is 5 Years by David Bowie. When I bought Ziggy Stardust and put that on and listened to 5 Years, he's screaming his head off at the end. And he meant that shit. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And,
it's those kind of things that people go in and record the song and they don't have anybody on the other side of the glass going, no, forget what you've sung before. Just go off-piste and do something else. And, go a bit crazy. Just, I don't know, ad-lib it. Yeah. And that's difficult for artists to do. I think musicians to do. And that's why producers are there. They're cheerleaders of musicians to be able to go, bosh, bosh, bosh. And I look back now and Trevor Horn go, right, we want Louis in there playing percussion. Louis is going to slay this. And Louis comes in and just, and Pleasuredome. Louis just comes in and does Louis. Louis going to go, something like that.
Yeah, chomping on a big cigar as well. Yeah.
It's absolutely smoking the groove, get involved.
Absolutely.
It's music, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, let's go back to the beginning. Before Frankie was formed, you were a Sparky, as you said. For those of watching that aren't in the UK, that's an electrician. And so you were doing that. What were the rest of the guys doing, and how did you all come together?
I was working for Liverpool Council. Mark was also working for Liverpool Council as a chippy, as a joiner, or carpenter. And Ped had just been made redundant from Hygiena, which was kitchen furniture manufacturers.
That's
And
it.
I think Ped was a machinist, a hygienist. So when he got made redundant, he bought a black Ludwig kit with his redundancy money. So the first time that I met Ped was he was playing in a band with Mark's two brothers, Colin and Vincent, and they were rehearsing in the basement of this church. And this fella comes in is with the curly hair and the tash. And I go like, check him with the full-on Ludwig black kit. Which then, you know, if you're talking about, I don't even know how much it was, but anything that's going into the realms of like 400 or 500 quid is a month's wages. So someone turns up with one of them, they go like, either he's bought that or he's getting it on the trip, or he's had to go down with his dad to sign the form. But but also the rehearsal space at the Bridewell was a bit of a scene. So I was in a band with Ped and a girl called Julie Irvin and a guy called John Crowney, and we originally had Jed O'Toole as the singer in the band, and we were called Dancing Girls. And then Jed left, and we changed the name to Sons in Egypt because we were all massive fans of Sons and Fascination by Simple Minds.
Simple Minds, yeah.
And we got on the telly, and our rehearsal space was funded by John, who was stealing from Virgin Records. Yeah, up you, Dickie, you bad Tory. I won't say. So he on Saturday afternoons at Virgin, there was it would be 4 deep at the counter, and we'd all be standing there with our quids or our fiver to buy an album. So what my mate would do, he'd take the money, and then you had a long walk down to the till to put the money in the till. And when he got to the till, he'd look to see if the kid was waiting for the receipt. And if he wasn't, then the money went in his pocket. So we were rehearsing in the cells, and John said to the fella, Colin, who run the cells, we want our own room, lockout. And he said, well, so it's like, all right, it's going to be like £30 a week. So because I think the rehearsals then were about £2 an hour.
Yeah.
So we had our own rehearsal room with all the gear set up, and we were still learning to play. So we were acting like rock stars before we were rock stars, and taking loads of drugs, smoking loads of hash, and snorting speed, and staying up all night.
Yeah.
And then Ped left, and then Holly left. But in between Ped and Holly leaving, Ped joined up with Mark, and they were playing together. And they were kind of doing that for a few months before Holly got involved. And there's this, I don't know, I'm not going to say where the story comes from, but this idea that Holly was David Bowie walking around Liverpool looking for the spiders from Mars, and he somehow recruited, Mark and Ped. He joined their band. Holly didn't ask them to join a band with him. He joined their band.
Yeah, because he was in big in Japan, wasn't he?
Yeah, but he'd been doing his own solo stuff. And I'd met him before, and I'd actually done a bit of recording with him on a 4-track in his flat, which was interesting, good vibes, with like a TR-808, and I had a couple of pedals, and the old the very first it wasn't a TR-808, so the Dr. Rhythm thing that come before that, the first rolling little box.
Yeah, DR-55.
Yeah, using one of them and getting into that kind of stuff was because you're just experimenting, and it's just between the people who are in the room. This is not going to go anywhere. So, yeah, good times.
Yeah,
good vibes.
So, just to explain to those that don't know, the Bridewell is an old police holding cell that they used to throw the drunks in, and it'd been converted into these little rehearsal rooms, and it's still open today. It's a bar. You can go in, and you go down this corridor, and you've got these little cells. So those were like the independent little rehearsal spaces. And your one is now unceremoniously the gents' toilet.
The gents' toilet, because it was the biggest. It was the biggest
one.
cell. But a little bit of history about the Bridewell, and anybody coming to Liverpool who knows it, you've been there yourself, Rob. It's a blind and boozer.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
It's possibly one of the best. I'm going to say it's the best boozer in Liverpool. But others may prefer the Denby Castle or the pencil. But it was the cells thing. When we moved in there, we went into the room, and all over the wall was all this anti-Churchill graffiti and peace doves and stuff. And the last time it had been used to lock people up was during the Second World War, and it housed conscientious objectors.
Ah, right.
And they had all of this stuff on the walls. And, you know, being 20 and 21 and divvies, we just went in with a tin of paint and went, nice purple then. and, you know,
yeah.
It was, but it was good, really good times in there. And yeah, because, you know, it was none of having to lug your gear there and all that. And I'd ring John up when he was in Virgin and go like, there's an 18H Studio 50. Well, you've already got one, haven't you? Yeah, but I've got a memory man as well, so I can split the signal. We can have two. Yeah, how much is it? Oh, fella wants 45 quid for it. Yeah, give us till 4 o'clock. And then go to Virgin, get the money off him outside, and then jump on a bus to Aintree to go and pick up this amp. And I've still got the amp. I've still got the 18H amp, yeah.
Wow.
But,
awesome. So you've now kind of got together as a band. You're in the Bridewell. You told me that you pretty much wrote most of the songs that appear on Pleasuredome in that rehearsal room, right?
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't involved with the writing of Relax and Two Tribes because I wasn't in the band then. But yeah, like the likes of Pleasuredome and that. By this time, I think have we got a record deal by this time? Maybe. Or there's interest, and we can afford the big room, which is now where the bar is. Yeah. So there used to be a wall across there. So I remember things like Only Star in Heaven, The World Is My Oyster, and Pleasuredome being in there. It was funny when we were back in Liverpool to do the Eurovision thing. Yeah. We had a little after party in the Bridewell, and Marco Toole went behind the bar just by the window and went, "This was me spec. This was my spec." Yeah. Brilliant. I'll have a pint.
Yeah, yeah. So, tell me, you mentioned the ZTT deal. In your book, you talk about this at the beginning. You talk about this story that you'd been rejected and you just weren't getting the deal, and then all of a sudden you get this phone call, and there's an offer from ZTT, who at that time were pretty much nothing. It was just Trevor and Paul and Jill, and an idea, and they offer you a deal. I mean, what was that like? You'd been slogging away for some while now, and then this aspiring yet independent unknown label came in for you.
Yeah, we had our manager Bob Johnson at the time, who was brilliant and got in to those meetings. And there's a funny story about him. There was a video that was recorded at the Hope and Anchor in Islington with the leather pets in, and this video had been sent to some people, and it had a bit of a vibe. There was a bit of a vibe about the video in the industry. So when Bob went for this meeting, he said, "Oh, let's go into the video room and see the video." And he said, like, him and 3 other people left the office, but by the time they got to the video room, there was about a dozen people behind it going, "He's got that video with that band." And so there was interest, but you got to think about the times. 2 very upfront homosexuals fronting a band, and they're wearing the gear they're wearing. It's not cuddly, is it?
No.
Like as androgynously brilliant as Boy George was, he didn't look very threatening.
No.
Whereas this thing is like, are you going to bring home one of them? Well, no, I'm not. Neither's your daughter. So,
I mean, there's a lot of early promo shots of you guys, and you're all dressed up in that sort of gear. I mean, it was a brave thing to do at that time. It wasn't mainstream. We weren't seeing it all the time. And then all of a sudden, in the NME Melody Maker sounds, you know, we were seeing pictures of you guys almost dressed, you know, in leather stuff, and it was, for a young, you know, teenage lad like myself, it was just like, wow, this is, what the hell, you know, we'd never seen this. You know, I lived in rural East Anglia, we never saw anything like that around here.
Well, the clothing thing, and what I love about that, let me say about the clothing first. It was never, we're getting dressed up by Holly and Paul,
right?
Mostly Paul, and and you know, there's a pool of stuff to wear, and the vibe was not about like wearing stuff that was gay attire or what could be perceived as sadomasochistic. It was Mad Max. That was the thing. We all loved Mad Max in the very early Frankie gigs. It was Mad Max playing on the intro tape before he went on stage, working for the Black Gas, the two tribes going to war. Is Mad Max.
It's Mad Max, isn't it?
And, it was a very budget version of Mad Max. But hey, we didn't have Mad Max's budget, you know.
No, quite.
So, and then we get to do these photographs with John Stoddart, and so 2 months ago, my mate John is a photographer, John Johnson in Liverpool. He'd bought a couple of tickets, Q&A with John Stoddart, literally 10 minutes down the road, 5 minutes on a scooter. And I got to see John and talk to him, and he put these pictures up. And you know what I think, what it really kind of hit me, and it was when I actually went to the Holly exhibition at the City of Liverpool Museum, and John's photograph was blown up onto a wall, and it looks brilliant. But the best thing about it, and I only realised this then, it could have been taken yesterday, because there's nothing in the clothing or what's in the background or the surroundings of it that dictates when that photograph was taken.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, you listen to 80s records, they sound like 80s records because you recognise that keyboard sound.
Yeah.
Or if you look at the 80s pictures, you get anything is dated by the clothing, and there's nothing in that picture. That picture could have been taken in the 1960s, but equally it could have been taken last week as well.
Yeah.
And it was brilliant listening to John talking about his career, and have a look at his stuff. And he told me that Open Eye Gallery here, which is a photographic kind of company really, and John's archive with them, and I've seen some stuff I'd never known he'd done about the inner city Everton and all that. It was all the way up to Captain Zeta Jones and Kylie and all the superstars, Scorsese, De Niro. So it was really lovely.
Yeah,
that he had those in this Q&A. He had these pictures of us, and which were so we're a little part of what became the John Stoddart story. And there's a picture of contact strips, photographs taken from contact strips and lined up and photographed again of like as individuals. And he was explaining like that was he just got into doing that was a new thing for him. So hearing the stuff behind him, when you think I'd know it all because I was there, no, you haven't got a clue. You haven't got a clue what he was shooting. And it was absolutely brilliant to see him as well. He's an absolute gent.
Yeah, no, he's done some amazing work. So you've got the deal. You're going into the studio. What was the plan? Was it go in, record a single, see how that did, and then go from there, or did you have a set plan?
No, we had a single deal. It was a single deal.
Yeah.
And I think halfway through recording Relax, they took up the option to do another one. That's right, because we went into a studio on Holloway Road with Trevor, and we were playing, and we played Two Tribes, and he said, "Nah, that's going to be the next single. It doesn't sound like a single, but this is Trevor on. He's going to make it work."
Yeah.
But it's also Frankie Goes to Hollywood. It's Mark, Ped, and Holly.
Yeah.
And from that time, I remember at that time they were trying to push the Slaves to the Rhythm thing.
Yeah, of course.
What we would call the Germanic version, you know, the quite strident one.
Yeah.
And I heard it, to be honest, I think I was the only. I think maybe Paul as well. I went, that's quite a vibe, that, you know. That's a good song, and I can imagine what it'd sound like if it was us doing it. But I think Mark was going, no, I'm not having it. I don't think Holly was either. And then we had this thing and we played Two Tribes, and he went, no, that's going to be the thing we're going to do. And you know the other thing from that session, and I'm turning into a grass here. I'm going to grass him up because it's his fault, and this is when it happened. We were in this rehearsal room, and the music that me and Mark O'Toole would have grown up with would have been listening to country music and female singers. And both Mark and Trevor Horn started singing Do You Know the Way to San Jose, because Mark was talking about Aretha Franklin and Dionne Warwick and Say a Little Prayer. And Mark said, I love that San Jose. And that was it. And that's how it ended up on, yes, so it's your fault, O'Toole. Yeah. Never forgiven you, ever.
Oh, it's a good song. So you've done Relax. Relax comes out literally, we were saying before we came on air, 42 years ago today, October 24th, 1983, it gets released. And it's a slow burn, isn't it? Because it doesn't become a hit, or it starts to climb up the charts just around sort of Christmas time. Your local guy, Paul McCartney's got number one, and you knock him off the top spot. And a lot of people attribute that to the fact that the BBC put this ban, even though you'd been on Top of the Pops, even though it had already been played on Radio 1 and stuff. There's this kind of legend about Mike Reid banning it, and it's all a little bit, it's all a little bit.
You know what? The ban is the hill I will die on. So, as you said, it's a very slow burn. It's limping up the chart, and I think it gets to 54.
Yeah.
And it drops to 55. I've got to say about it as well. This is the thing. We were talking about it getting played on Radio 1. I remember the first time I heard it played on Radio 1, and I was working in a building in Sefton Park. So I'm still at work there. We're not full-time musicians. And I'm up a ladder, 12 foot up, and it's damp and it's cold and it's October, audible. And we've got this little scratchy radio, and Relax comes on. And I'm up a ladder, fitting pyro into this damp building. Any spark would know that's not a good job. And I say to the fella who I'm apprentice to, this is our record. So previous to that, I'd absolutely had the piss ripped out of me by it. You turn up at the wages, man. What's the name of your band, lad? Frankie what? Yeah, shite that. Yeah. What, you got 2 queers in the band? Yeah, shite. And they just wouldn't have it. And you just got to sit there and take it. But then the guy who worked for it was going, have you heard his record? Have you heard the records on? They played it on Radio once. Boss tune. And that kind of turned it all around then.
Yeah.
People start asking, how's your band doing? Oh, what, the one with the 2 outrageous queer singers? Yeah. We're doing all right, yeah. We're 54. and when it dropped to 55, we got the Tube. And the Tube was just so brilliant in that Frankie journey, you know. I don't want to dwell too much on it, but that was really important. It came at a time because it propelled us from 55, and we're dropping down to 36, and we're in the top 40, so we can get Top of the Pops. Can I tell you about Top of the Pops?
Go for it.
The synchronicity of this is Slade have had a resurgence, I think, after playing Reading Festival, filling in for Ozzy, and they smashed it, and everyone loves Slade. And I can't remember what the tune was. It might have been Radio War. Anyway, doesn't matter. But before we're doing our first appearance on Top of the Pops, me and Mark O'Toole are at the bar in Wood Lane. This, you know, this cathedral of television, having a bevy with Jimmy Lee and Don Powell, and Mark O'Toole adores Jimmy Lee. We all, both me and Mark, all his brothers, all love Slade. I remember going to the O'Toole house when I was a kid, and they'd all be playing Slade songs, Jed and Vin. We're talking about when Mark's like 11 and 12 here, really. And we're just having a chat to them, and they're talking to us like we're just two other guys in a band like them, you know. And if it all ends, then I've died happy, man. I've been on Top of the Pops with Slade. And the Top of the Pops gets us 36-6. And our midweek prediction is 2. So we've appeared, so you've got to have a week off before you'd appear again. So we'd appearing again with the records at number 2. And Mike Reed has this thing and says, like, I'm not playing it, blah, blah, blah. And there's various reasons about why he did that. I think it's quite staged, but somebody said that his kids had been rewinding the Relax video and watching it over and thinking it was quite saucy. Like, I don't know, but he did it. And it was not banned, it was withdrawn from the playlist. And as you said, it's been played loads of times. But it was, I think the BBC were kind of forced into a corner because Mike Reed was such an influential. He was a big name, you know, big Radio 1 name. So I think the corporation felt like that they had to back him because he's refused to play it. But it actually worked in our favour in so many ways, in that when Two Tribes came out, they were playing it like 9 times a day. And it was like the BBC going, sorry about that. Will you take 9 plays a day on Radio 1 in the build-up to it coming out? So it's been absolutely battered on Radio 1. And then it goes in at number 1. And then Two Tribes starts climbing up. So I think, because, you know, before Two Tribes, Frankie Goes to Hollywood, in terms of what people would perceive as being the mainstream chart, only existed for a week and a half.
Yeah.
You know, and it was, so there was a lot of people who would have missed that. And they've come on and got this Two Tribes. Aren't you on the other one? Haven't you heard the first one? Yeah, it got banned. Yeah. and then that starts climbing up the charts. And, you know, we're 1 and 2. Absolutely unbelievable. And I always say John Lennon had to die to do that.
I know, because by that time, only the Beatles and Lennon had done that. Well, and what does that say for the city of Liverpool? Yeah, I mean, it's just amazing. So Relax becomes this big hit. You follow it up with Two Tribes, and it just blows everyone's mind, because you've gone from a really powerful single that's very, racy, saucy, sexy, whatever you want to call it, and now you're dealing with. Effectively, you're dealing with politics. And I guess you said the song was all, kind of inspired by Mad Max, but the way it was promoted, the way Paul Morley did all the sleeve notes on the back there, it was very political. And you were, for me as a 14-year-old, 15-year-old, you were a band that were addressing head on all the issues that we were concerned about or concerned with, sexuality, the Cold War, nuclear annihilation, all of that. You were just pressing all the buttons, man, and it was just amazing. And tell us a little bit about Two Tribes, because you said, I've heard some early demos of that, and as you say, Mark plays that bass line it's incredible. And him and Ped are just a brilliant rhythm section. Tell us a little bit about the journey of Two Tribes, because that was just an immense single. Was it 9 weeks at number 1?
Yeah.
In the UK?
As they said on the Fast Show, a Brian Adamsley long time. In terms of when the recording of it was happening, we were doing a lot of TV promotion. The Trevor Horn machine's doing its thing, and we'd come back from doing a TV show in Europe somewhere, and there'd be an orchestra, and I'd go, wow, that sounds cool. Really gutted I was never there to hear the orchestra being recorded. But the thing that I'd like to talk about with Two Tribes as well, and also the controversy with, putting the information about nuclear missiles on the back, and the Protect and Survive government tape, which was going to be broadcast in the event of a nuclear war. And it was kind of like on the underground, and you could only get bootleg copies of this thing. And the quality of it wasn't great. So, and also the software ain't there back then to be able to tidy it up. and we're doing so. Someone just goes, get the fella who's done it and get him to come back in. So Patrick Allen comes back in. I think he died a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
He's the Barrett man. That's how we all know him.
Barrett houses,
Barrett man in the helicopter. He was like an estate agent playing James Bond. But we went there when that was recorded, and when he did it, he said, I remember some other things that they asked me to say that weren't used on the final version. So that stuff about if your grandmother dies or something, that I don't think that was on the original Protect and Survive, but he went on to do all this other stuff.
Yeah.
So that was crazy. But also the other thing about when it come out, and you'll be able to tell me what mix it is, because I'm not sure. Of my name's Mark, my name's Ped, my name's Nash, right?
Mine is the last voice you will ever hear.
So the first time me, Mark, and Ped hear that, we've been away doing a foreign TV, and we come back and we go to the Hippodrome. We lived in the Hippodrome for about a year, and we turn up at the door, and by the time you get to the bar, the word has gone through that you're here. So the DJ plays the record. So we're standing at the bar waiting to get served. And it comes up, the thing, my name's Mark, my name's... And it's like, we just looked at it and went, what the fuck? Where's that come from? Where's that come from? Never even, I don't know, is that the Hibakushi mix? Is that the Annihilation mix?
No, I think it's on the Annihilation, that one. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to say that's my favourite, because people ask me all the time, what's your favourite mix of 2000? It's the Annihilation mix.
Yeah.
So that was quite weird. And then doing the video was great because we didn't really have to do anything in it.
No,
it was, I'll tell you the other thing, there was an idea. The first idea for Two Tribes was one, I remember Lol Cream actually saying, not Lol Cream, Kevin Godley, about having a gang of skinheads smashing up a Rolls Royce. And I'm like, that's like, Kev, you know that big thing you're smoking there? It's down for half an hour. But then again, can you imagine that? Can you imagine Godwin shooting a video where, that's the idea? I bet you it'll look unbelievable. So we got this thing, and we do the Two Tribes video. Spent a lot of time just sitting in the back having a bevy with Basha, our wonderful stylist, lovely girl. And we got called out. Oh, you got to come out now. What's happening? We're going to blow up the world. Oh, everyone's on set when they blow up the world. But also on the when we did the Relax video, we had John Dare, the guy who's Nero, who people may recognise from Porridge. He was Crusher in Porridge, and we spent a lot of time with him, and he was a really lovely guy. So when we did the Two Tribes video, we said, you got to get John Dare in it. And I think the shots that we're in, John's just sitting behind us as part of those reporters and that. And then he ended up being in the Pleasuredome video as well. So that was a nice little bit of, I don't know, tapestry weaving John Dare through it. Especially because I'm such I'm a massive Porridge fan, and I can't not watch it when it comes on screen. Yeah. And there's been times when he comes up and I go, he was a dry Scotsman, nice fella. Yeah. Like having a dad with you.
Yeah, absolutely. You see, he's never a star, but he's always there, isn't he, in the background or just doing those small parts. But yeah, absolutely. So Two Tribes kind of set new rules for single releases, because although Relax had a couple of different mixes, Two Tribes, they just went all out. And as you said, he had the Annihilation mix, you had the Carnage mix, it was double A'd with War, then you had the Hibakusha mix, which was I think, was that a fairly limited release, that one? It was only like a promo thing, it didn't sort of get widespread coverage. And then
ask me one on Sport.
Yeah. But there was all these different mixes, and of course the upshot of it was that it would help keep the single selling at the rate to keep it at number one. And because of that, the rules got changed for recognizing releases for chart releases. You couldn't do that anymore because it was other people were catching on to that sort of thing. How much did you have anything to do with that, or was that all just the marketing machine? Was that Paul?
I, in terms of it being a marketing thing to keep the record at number one, I'm not entirely convinced that was the thing. It was. I remember Trevor always talking about going to like Paradise Garage and there'd be mixers and fellas that do their own mixers and stuff and bring it in. But they were mixers that kind of were being passed round. They weren't being released, but it was like a fresh vibe on something, like someone having an input into somebody else's tune and being able to do mixes of it. I mean, the other thing with Two Tribes is, and with the Two Tribes video, it was the first time Godley and Cream are working with a band where the producer of that band is a friend of theirs. So if Godley and Cream go, we want to do this one with Gaddafi, and and all of that, and Nixon, can we have like one with like 16 bars of just bass drum, and Chinenko's going to get punched in the face, and there's going to be blood and that. So, of course, we're paying for it. But they said they always said they never had that like cross pollination between the record label and the artist before. So he said, it was basically. Yeah, Trev, we're going to need another 16 yards of that. It's like they're buying it like carpet. Yeah. But the videos are great. And you got it, I think, was the Two Tribes video screened after midnight as part of some tube thing, if I remember right. It kind of got like a bit of a premiere, didn't it?
That's it on Channel 4, yeah.
Yeah. Great.
Yeah.
But Jay, for me, didn't have to do anything.
No.
Brilliant. Not so keen on the Power of Love video.
Well, we'll come on to that shortly. But so you've had these two stonking number one singles. It's coming up to Christmas of '84, and the third single, which is, I don't know, is it probably the most popular Frankie single, because it was a Christmas number one. It had a video shot, which you've just referred to there, that was all very much about the nativity. The song has nothing to do with Christmas or religion or anything like that. It's a beautiful love song, and still to this day, whoever, whether you're doing it, whether I've seen Holly do it on his tour, it still gives you goosebumps. It's a wonderful piece of music, and of course, you're on the writing credits for that one. Are you proud of that one?
Yeah, in terms of recording that song, when they come to shoot the video for it, we'd done some stuff in the studio, and it was like, we're going to use the band as like frames to these classic pictures. So, whatever, yeah. Right.
There's a lot going on, isn't there?
Oh, mate. One of Kevin Godley's roaches had put you in hospital. So we're actually on tour, and we're in funnily enough, I think we're doing some recording with Trevor in Narada Michael Walden's studio in San Francisco, and we're playing in San Francisco, and he turns up with this video of The Power of Love, and we're all just, God, this is like so predictable. Like, you're going to go down this religious route. And of course, they had to fly to Israel.
Yeah.
Yes, going to take a load of people out to Israel. Didn't take John Zaire, though.
No.
That's just, where was John Zaire? He could have been a fat king, couldn't he? Big fat king on a camel.
Herod, yeah.
So I thought it was a bit terrible. And then when the angel comes down, you can see like the string holding up the angel's frock and that. But it's become a classic song, and people love it. And I'll tell you an interesting thing that happened the other week. There's a girl who I know, you may know her herself, Terry Reid. Yeah. So Terry finds Terry's auntie gives her this notebook that the auntie got off a painter and decorator.
Right.
that had redecorated Holly's flat after he moved out in Liverpool, and he found this thing. And Terry said, "I've just been handed this. Is this Holly's?" And it was a Corky the cat, like a tiny little notebook thing. And the first page of it, one of the lines in it says, "Love is like an energy rushing inside of me." And I went, "It's got to be his. It's got to be his." So I say to Terry, "Do you want to get it back to him?" "Yeah, sound okay." So I send the pictures to Holly and go, "Is this yours?" He said, "It's my handwriting." And I said, "Well, sound, this girl has got it and wants to give it back to you." "Okay. Yeah, well, she works in town." So we set up a meeting, and me and Terry and Holly met up, and the item was handed over, which was it was a nice touch. But great to see that thing just jumping out of the page, and some painted and decorators had it. Kept it for over probably close to 45 years now.
Wow.
Yeah. And he ends up getting it back. So I thought that was a nice touch.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's talk about the album. It's a bold debut. It's a double album. That's rarely, if ever, done. It's got everything on it, from the funk of Two Tribes, the kind of the high energy relax. You've got this ballad, Power of Love. You've got this like 15-minute prog track at the beginning, which is just exquisite. It just goes all over the place. It's super. I won't say overproduced, but it's produced within an inch of its life. And then in between that, you've got covers of San Jose, you've got covers of Born to Run, which is, in my opinion, as good as, if not better than, the Springsteen version. I know I'm probably going to upset a lot of people by saying that, but it's brilliant. And then you've got all these other, these sleeper tracks that, Crisco Kisses, Black Night, White Night, you mentioned Love's Got a Gun, World Is Your Oyster. It's just such a varied collection of things that you would not expect from a band making its debut album, and yet here you were, double album, big sleeve, the low coal paintings on the front and the back and on the inside. I mean, God, we used to sit for ages in school. I'll tell you a little story. On the day that Pleasuredome came out, I'm at school just up round the corner here, and it's in a village that's just outside the main town. And at lunchtime, I bunked off, ran down the hill into town, into Woolworths, bought the album. I'd taken in my little portable record player into school that day because I knew it was coming out, and I wanted to be the popular kid that got the Frankie album and brought it back at lunchtime, got back with about 10 minutes to spare, put side A on, and the bell's going, and side A hasn't finished yet because it's still bloody going on. But we were all crowded round this little record player listening. That was the impact that it had on our generation. You were, Frankie as a whole were our rebellious pop band. We were, I was a little bit too young to be into punk. I mean, I certainly was aware of it and listened to it, and certain older friends and brothers and sisters of friends would listen to it. But you were our rebellious band that our mothers would say, "Oh, you mustn't be watching that. Oh, you mustn't be listening to that." I remember my mum telling me she'd listen to Relax, and she said, "What's that I can hear in the background? It's awfully squelchy." It was just like, it was brilliant. But Pleasuredome,
the thing with, there's something that, I mean, this is a little bit tech, but there might be people who are listening to this.
Oh, there will be.
Want to hear the tech. So we're in Soundwest, Steve Lipson. We've got two 24-track digital machines. Mm-hmm. So this idea, now you can offset the machines, which means you can basically copy sections of the track, mm-hmm. and make it as long as you like, and it's lossless. You're throwing zeros and ones between machines.
Yeah. So
to make this opus now, you don't really have to play it, and it doesn't have to be sampled either. Mm-hmm. So you can have this amazing quality by offsetting the machines. And I did that with Steve Lipson, and I don't think Steve Lipson gets enough credit really for his input into it, because without Lipson doing that, it's not that long. It's 4.5 minutes tops. But also, you mentioned Born to Run. The thing of of recording that, when we got to play it in the studio, none of us had ever heard Born to Run.
Really?
I remember, because like, we weren't Springsteen fans, and it was like, well, how are we going to learn? And it's not like you can dial it up now and learn how to play it. You got to go out and buy it, or, you know, or if someone got a copy of it and we got to listen to it. So we had the sheet music. So we had no real idea of what the tempo should be or what it should sound like, which is kind of mad. So it makes me feel half like one of those people that reads the dots. You know, I can read sheet music, play the chords. So we didn't really know anything about the Bruce Springsteen version, but it was like, well, it's got to be like that. It's got to be fast and it's got to be punky and loud. But a great song. But you've just said something that will hugely piss off the many members of the East Street Nation. There'll be a fatwa. There'll be a fatwa on Robbie.
Yeah.
But, I was hanging out with some of the East Street Nation when
really?
When Springsteen played in Liverpool, and you know what? They're a bunch of scruffy gets. They've got no style about them at all. They're all they all look like exchange students.
Yeah.
Yeah. Starting up your act, get some decent trainers.
But when you're that good as a band, they don't need to look good, I suppose.
Yeah.
So looking back at that whole process of recording the album, we'll talk about what's coming up on the reissue in just a moment. What do you remember with most fondness about making that album, as varied as it was in terms of its musical content and the production? Because there were tracks on there that sounded less Trevor horned than others. Certainly the side 3.
Example, the Ballads of 32. I remember that. So it's like you listen to the Ballads of 32 and it's like they're just. We were doing the night shift at Sam, so we're kind of like, can we go in the studio tonight and do something? Yeah, Stuart Bruce was free, send Stuart Bruce in, and we'd sit there and he'd let us do what we want. And he got involved and played a few bits in that, and brought in his pedals. And but I remember doing Born to Run in that late, and also loads of stuff on the Liverpool album was done doing bits in the Graveyard Shift as well.
Yeah.
So we think we're in the studio because nobody's using it. Because like George Michael was booked in till 12 o'clock, but he's gone home at 8, so we can have it from yet. But we're getting charged as well. And the sickening thing is we're getting charged more than George Michael.
Oh, no.
We're on the label. Anyway, we're doing the Ballads of 32 and wanted to be like Floyd. And the thing, getting the sound effects, that Stuart Bruce at the sound. Oh, here comes the lads. And the crashing car. But we rang up fans. We had fan letters at Sam West, and we all had phone numbers, so we rang them up. And that's the girl who says, "Who goes happening?" It was a fan. So we had all of these fan voices at the end. So it was quite good in that to be allowed into the laboratory while the scientist wasn't there. And to have a bit of fun. And Stuart was a really good collaborator as well. For someone, I think for someone from his background, having to deal with me, Mark, and Ped for 12 hours. But he survived.
Absolutely. So let's just have a look at. So this is the reissue that's coming out next week. This is the deluxe box set, which has got 8 discs in it. There are 7 CDs and a Blu-ray. We've already mentioned, we'll talk a little bit about the Stephen Wilson influence or impact on there. But you've got the 7 discs. So the way it's been done is that you've got it's been done in a really cool way, because you've got this kind of chronological event. So the first disc is your sessions, is your Peels and your Kid Jensen sessions. And then there's a disc for each of the singles with all different parts of that. And say you've left off some of the B-sides, which you rightly say probably throwaway stuff. And there's stuff on there that's not been released before, which I think maybe a lot of people might be surprised about, given that there's been so many kind of regurgitations of the album and session stuff. And then, of course, you've got the album itself. And then there's the Blu-ray, which has the Atmos mix, the 5.1 mix, the high-res stereo mix. And there's a version of the Blu-ray which is independently sold through, I think, superdeluxeedition.com, which has got this 30-minute version of Welcome to the Pleasuredome, the track, not the album. This 30-minute mix by Steven Wilson. I haven't heard this yet. I won't get this until next week, but have you had a chance to listen to that, even if it's stereo mix?
I was parked up on an industrialist a retail park in Aintree, not far from Pads, and I was listening to it in the car. I was 17 minutes through it when Pads actually rang me up, and I went, "I'm listening to this 30-minute mix." Do you know what, Rob? I know that people will love it, and the fact that the pre-sale of it is sold out, and I think you have to press up more. Is one, really pleasing. Two, really humbling that people still are interested in it. But thirdly as well, that maybe people are interested in it because they've sat waiting for this. And you know, I don't know if you're one of those guys, but I know fellas who are like that, who've been sitting there waiting for this stuff that they haven't heard before. And I can't be that guy because I couldn't get that. I couldn't get that excited about any music. But I've been in touch with Frankie Fanatics for the last 20 years, and I engage because I'm a human being, and it's interesting, and why not? So I think I'm an expert in a couple of Facebook groups, but I don't know anything compared to these people. So I just hope that when it comes out and people get it, that these Facebook groups that I see and the other places here and there, that people will react positively to it, because invariably towards the end of the ZTT stuff, especially the debacle with the mono edition of Liverpool. When you think about that, this is a record company that prided itself on being at the absolute forefront of super stereo, brilliant sounding records. And the fact that that's come out means that the person who okayed that and said that can be sent for production doesn't know what they're listening to.
No.
So that's this thing with being with Universal. It's come at a really good time, because it seems like we were just the money making dirty laundry. Do you know what I mean? It was. I don't mean that in like a tax evade. It's just I would throw this shite out, and someone will buy it. And invariably, there was this. I mean, I'd ask you from the latter years of the ZTT output, it was scraping the barrel.
It was.
Why didn't they do anything like this with what Universal were doing? Why didn't they do anything with the Peel sessions? Because the Peel sessions proves that we were a band before. It doesn't fit with the Trevor Horn narrative.
I know you've been very vocal about that Peel stuff, haven't you? That it does prove that you were a fully operational, great sounding band before all the gloss and the glitz and the glamour. And it was good times. We were like, I don't know, we were a gang back then. Like when we went after Relaxing Two Trials with a hit, and we're going to book a tour for '95, and it's like, this is a big step up from playing at Pickwick's. But myself and Pez, big rock, loved rock shows, loved AC/DC. It's about the show. We're going to go and do this. And we went to America, and we played 30 shows in America. And probably wasn't that. Probably just felt like that. But we were absolutely on fire then. And we came back, and the first place we played was during the 3 nights at Liverpool Empire. And I have little to no recollection of any of those gigs. And that's not because off my head. We never drank before. We'd have one each before.
So it's just, I don't know. Your brain's like RAM in it.
Yeah.
And the RAM from that period has kind of disappeared, but it was and it was a load of hassle because people were casing us for tickets. But after that point, it was, and I say this was the first brick of the Jenga was out, and I'm not think it was different, and kind of like the writing was on the wall that this wasn't going to be like the Rolling Stones. It wasn't going to be something that's going to roll for the next 20 or 30 years. Sure. But great times of doing it. And you say the people who are going to be buying this product are people who've stuck with us from those times, who have been excited by it then, and are waiting to be excited about it now. And that's boss. You know, that's a great thing.
Yeah, I think it says a lot about the album and the quality of the album throughout is that it has been regurgitated, well or not, by the various people that have owned the ZTT catalog over the years. Was it Union Square, BMG? They've all had a hand in there somewhere, and some have done reasonable jobs. I mean, there was that Inside the Pleasuredome box set, which I thought was done really, really well.
Yeah.
And two key people from that project have worked on this project, and that's Kevin Folks, who's done a lot of the artwork and the timeline within the book within this new box set. Yeah. Of course, Ian Peel, who is this archivist who's been able to go through this. I believe the storage unit is in Slough somewhere with all of this stuff in, and he's been able to go through. And between those two guys, I mean, I've spoken to them on a few occasions. We've spoken a lot about ZTT stuff. They are so passionate about the label and the artists that were on it, and all the detail. They know this stuff, so they know what the fans want. And so I always think that each reissue of the album where they've added in some extra content has all been done mostly from a good place. Whether it's been executed by the labels as such is a different matter, and I just think all these different color versions of the vinyl is just pathetic. It's pointless.
So you know what I say, I don't get to hear these things. If stuff gets posted to me, I'll just give it away. I only listened to this because it was something that was new, and I'd say this is they've mentioned that, given the response to this, that there'd be this possibility of doing the same thing for Liverpool.
Yes.
Now, this is the thing about when we were in the studio in Whistleout, and there'd be stuff that'd be recorded, and there'd be jams and that, and Hef would say, "What's this called?" And we'd say some stupid name, and it'd be like Two Buttered Rolls, and so and this was just to make Hef write Two Buttered Rolls on the box, and then he's got to write it on the F1, and they run off every day, having the at the end of every little session on a song, they'd always run off an F1. So there's tons and tons and tons of stuff.
Oh, that's good.
I think there'd be tons of stuff from the Pleasuredome stuff as well, and I'm not sure if they've gone through that F1 collection,
right?
And this is the other thing. I'm not sure they even would know what that was in terms of works in progress. But if someone like Ian Peel is in the archive, he's looking for the 8 tracks that are on Pleasuredome. He's not looking for Two Buttered Rolls, and he doesn't know what Two Buttered Rolls is. So I said to Pet, I want to go down and go into the archive, because we were there, and we may be able to answer some questions and go, oh wow, that it'd be like looking through your old record collection, what I mean?
Absolutely.
But we'll see about that. But I'm glad that people are buzzing. And you said what you mentioned there about the last box set. That last box set was a really nice piece of gear, and it looked good. Yeah. And it looked like some thought had gone into it, rather than some of the other stuff. It was you know, God, I don't even know where to start. Just terrible.
I know.
So this, you know, the fact that these people are getting involved, so that Universal and Steve Hammond and Chaz Chandler of being, you know, having a hands-on thing with this and pushing us along to get on. And it's been a long time since you're dealing with record labels, and when you're dealing with big record labels, you know, if I ring up Universal Records, no one's answering the phone.
No.
You know, there's nobody there. You know, you need to get up. You need to get up to the 5th floor or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's good to have these people who have been nothing but passionate about the release, but they've also been flexible to the point of, like, you know, you're not dealing with one guy here. It's not me saying to you, "Hey, Rob, put them out," and number two, we're dealing with people, and some, you know, what some person wants, maybe what some other person wants, and there was never a point in the making of this product where that got to, well, you're a dickhead, and you know, not even between us. We were kind of like, we had a pretty firm consensus of what we thought was good and what we thought was bad, and you know, it's real. It's opened up a communication channel between all of us.
Yeah.
Which can only be a good thing, you know, going forward. Holly's out there doing gigs now, and he's promoting the tunes. You know, that he's keeping it alive.
Yeah.
And in terms of that, something struck me the other day. A real good mate of mine was a fella called Phil Harris. He played in a band called Ace, and you say to people, "Do you know Ace?" And people go, "Never heard of them." And then you go, "Do you know How Long?"
Yeah, I
and
used to play that in the band.
Yeah, know that. And I think Frankie are going to become like that. That you people go, Frankie Goes, like, especially amongst the youngsters. You speak to people in their 20s and go, like, "Have you ever heard of Frankie Goes to Hollywood?" No. What did they sing? And they sing The Power of Love, or they sing Relax, and they go, "Oh, that tune, yeah." So we're being aced.
Yeah. I'm going to pick you up on the Liverpool thing because you know, I hang out in you know, the various social media communities and have done for many years. And when Liverpool got a reissue, you know, again, that was in kind of the bad old days of the reissues. There was one copy. I should have brought it in actually, but there was one release and that got pulled like at the very last minute because there was some shall we say some what's the word I'm looking for? I'm just completely lost it. I think one of you guys didn't like what was on there, or there was some veto was in act. That's the word I was looking for. And then another version came out, and I remember going into my HMV. I will buy anything that's got Frankie Goes to Hollywood if it's an official thing, even if, you know, it's probably got some regurgitated stuff on there. And I found in HMV in Bury St Edmunds of all places a copy of that pulled version. They'd still got it on the shelf, so I bought a couple of copies and I gave one to a mate, and I've still got mine sealed because obviously it's withdrawn. It's going to be worth a few bob now. But yeah, so Liverpool has always been, you know, because Pleasuredome gets literally slaughtered. You know, it's always getting a reissue. Liverpool not so much, and a lot of the fans, the real Frankie fans, think that Liverpool is a better album because it's more of a band album. It's more like five guys. Yeah, it's got the production on it, but that was Lippo doing most of that. And so it's not had the whole Trevor Horn thing thrown at it. It's a much more focused single album. So it's really good to hear that there's the potential of that.
Well, the initial recordings at Whistleord in Holland were fantastic. And some of what we came back with from there was really exciting. It was quite hard, and there's versions of Maximum Joy which just sound just like we played it live. It wasn't the version that came out. I don't really like the version that came out compared to how it was before. So I'd pick that as an example. But there's also demos as well. You know, there'd be decent quality demos of of that period when we went to Jersey. We probably had the Tascam. And we used to record bits and pieces because it was only basically me, Mark, and Ped that were playing.
Yeah.
So we just record a little Tascam and get a mix off it and send it to Holly. So there might even be Tascam mixes of that.
Okay.
So that'd be interesting. It depends how much you want to put on there.
Yeah.
And I guess what the demand is for it. But this is where you have to bring in the fans. And you have to have an engagement in social media to go, blah, blah, who wants to hear this? What do you want to hear? And I'd be up for doing that. Because you're the customer, and the customer's always right?
Yeah, yeah.
So
they're buying it. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. But we'll see. We'll see. I'd love to go to the vault just to go to the vault because I've never been there. It'd be interesting to see what's in there. What I want to hear, and I'll leave you hanging with this, and when Liverpool comes out, we can talk about it then. I think I might have told you about the phone sex tape.
Oh, no, I don't think you have.
No. Oh, well, there you go. Well, I can't say that. I'll tell you when next time I buy you a pint, mate.
All right, then.
It was recorded, and it's hilarious. And it's in that archive somewhere.
Yeah.
So again, would Ian Peel know what that was? Ian Peel, if it just says phone sex on the thing, he ain't pulling it out. It's probably there's no multi-track for it either. It'd just be it'll be an F1, which I think for the Liverpool album there must be loads and loads of F1s of various different vibes, and some of the demos as well. You know, like. Kill the Pain was originally All Climb Up to Heaven. Our Silver Turns to Gold, the original demo of Maximum Joy, which we recorded in Ibiza. Yeah, the Ibiza tapes. So, you know, that'd be good. I think, I know that within the Frankie community, that there are probably versions of those, you know, have you heard the Ibiza demos?
No, I haven't. No.
Okay, so so there's some interesting stuff in there in terms of what the fans would want, and I'm positive about that going forwards, and we'll see what this is, and it can only be it's like everything now, man. We're no special. We're not Beyonce. We're not Lady Gaga. Whether this thing happens now is dependent on sales.
Yeah.
And if there is an appetite for it, at the end of the day, someone will do that calculation and go, yes, we can make this. And this is, as a catalogue, I think it's good for us in terms of the publishing with the Universal thing, because I'd like to think now that there are people within Universal Music who are pushing this song, or someone go, we got this. Oh, yeah. So we've had things like... The Power of Love turning up in that drama. I can't remember what it was, but it's been a couple of bits more of exposure. Whereas I think before it was someone at ZTT answering the phone going, what you want. I don't think it was anybody who was actively promoting the catalogue.
Right.
And they know what it's worth. They know what the turnover's worth. And if it's worthwhile them doing it, then that's great, you know.
Yeah.
And I think... Given that I spend most of my time now trying to listen to the radio and singing along to songs that I know, because it's like my musical gym. It's how I practice my singing. There's not enough Frankie on all them AL stations, man.
No.
I hear Radio Gaga every single day, and it didn't even get to number one.
I know.
Kept off by 2 Tribes.
Yeah, crazy. I've got some questions from the audience I'd like to throw at you, just to, you know.
I'll tell you what you can do.
Go on then.
You can compile that, and while I just go and answer the call of nature. And I'll
Indeed, yeah. So listen, everyone, I'll tell you what we'll do. I've got a little advert to play from our fellow YouTuber, Anthony Marinelli. I got a phone call last night. I was in the middle of a gig, Sananda Maitreya, who you might remember as Terence Trent D'Arby. If you can go and see him, he is incredible. And halfway through the gig, my pocket starts vibrating. It's Anthony. I can't answer the phone. But Anthony wanted me to mention this, and so you might have seen him before you came over to our channel at 7. But let me just play this little promo video for you now while Brian is answering the call of nature there. Just grab a load of this. Where, oh, hang on, I haven't loaded it up into the system. Let me do that. See, this is how unprepared I am. I'm not normally this unprofessional. But Anthony on the channel is... he's got a competition. He's got a giveaway. He's going to be giving away a brand new synthesizer, and it's an incredibly good synthesizer at that. He's giving away a third wave, a Groove Synthesis third wave, and he had a video on his channel just before we came on air with Bob Coover, and they were talking about it. So I thought, Anthony called me up and said, "Can you just give us a plug?" And I said, "Tell you what, we'll run the trail for you on the show tonight, and then you can come on the show next week." And I've got to tell you about next week's guest coming up in just a moment. But we'll run the trail for you once it's finished uploading into the system, because this is how prepared I was. So this is what he's doing. He's doing this third wave giveaway with Bob Coover from Groove Synthesis, and their fantastic third wave synthesizer, which, as you can see, is an homage to the PPG, a synthesizer that was used quite extensively by Frankie on Welcome to the Pleasuredome in various places. I'm going to keep waffling here because the video is still going, but here we go. Here's the trailer for the competition with Anthony Marinelli.
If you like what you saw in this video, go to anthonymarinellimusic.com for your chance to win a third wave synthesizer, just like this one.
There you go. And that's all you got to do. Just go to anthonymarinelli.com and all the details will be there. Anthony will be joining us next week in next week's show at some point to just so we can have a quick chat with him. But yeah, what a great way to hopefully get hold of one of those incredible synthesizers. To let you know about next week, we have got a very special guest next week. We've got Dan Phillips, who's the head of Korg's R&D department over there in California. He is going to be coming on and talking about some things that might not be announced just yet. But yeah, there's going to be some great stuff. So Dan Phillips will be joining us next week. And then the week after that, we've got Guido Salaya of GS Music, and of course GS Music are responsible for the E7 and the Brie 6 synthesizers, and I believe they are still the only synthesizer manufacturer that comes out of Argentina. So we're really looking forward to getting Guido on. We're supposed to hook up with him at Superbooth this year, but it didn't happen. He was too busy. So we've got all of that to come. So Brian is back from the call of nature. We've got some questions for you, Brian. I want to throw these out to you. So let's see, what have we got here? Let's start off with our very own Andrew Longhurst, who was asking, do you remember recording at EZ Studios in Market Road off the Caledonian Road?
Absolutely remember. Yeah, I did loads of rehearsal at EZ Studios. I remembered getting electrical problems with my pedals because it was so close to the railway lines. You get a lot of air loops and buzzing going on there. But you know what? I lived very close to there, and I'll never forget EZ Studios. No, it was a good vibe. I think the last time I was in there, me, Mark, and Pez were in Motorhead's rehearsal studio.
Oh wow!
With Lemmy, Phil, Wurzel, and Filthy Phil. Yes, and the answer to the question is yes, they do play that loud in rehearsals too.
Wow, cool.
Yeah.
Andrew's also sent in a donation. Thank you very much indeed, to match our show number as well. Thank you for that. Question from Jason Crouch. What was it like working with Trevor? Did the access to cutting-edge technology in their studio inspire, or was it more like kids in the sweet shop being blinded by the tech?
Do you know what, Jason? It's the tech side of it, and kind of being in that the period that the band existed and seeing how the tech accelerated, but also how the tech became consumer. In that, you know, we had the Fairlights, which is 100 grand, and then someone wanted to sing Clavier, which is another 150 grand. You know, people, you buy a row of houses in Liverpool for that.
Yeah.
At the time. But also post-that, where we end up, and we're using Atari 1040s and IS-1000, and now this kind of technology is in your hands and you can use it. But I remember doing stuff with Mark and Ped. We used to record around at Mark's house with an MC500, and all the bass drums had to be at 127.
Yeah.
and you couldn't do it, like, you couldn't do it in one go. So you'd have to go to, just mad. The tech is brilliant. I got to the end of the road with the tech myself after realizing whenever he calls it that low stuff, which is heavy tech, you know, tons of keyboards, tons of production and all that. Someone said to me, like, pull all that down, what's the guitar doing? And the guitar's just like 3 notes with a ton of echo on it. So you can't play that at the Pierhead, can you? So it kind of changed in that the technology's great. It's like a Black & Decker. When you need to drill a hole in the wall, it's Bosch, but it doesn't mean you have to carry it around with you all the time. And I've come round the other way of tech. I just didn't want to know. Wanted to record everything in one take. I did a whole album doing that. Don't ask me why. It was absolutely idiotic. And then the last record I did, I jumped back in because I'd come to the end of the road with Creator and that thing, and I was good at it and I could get it to do all I needed it to do. But again, it wasn't the song. But after doing my last album using Logic, it was like putting on a Bosch pair of slippers again. But that works because, you know, you go back to that time, your computer would just be falling over all the time. Using a Creator dongle, someone goes past and knocks it, and there goes your fault. You know, the cherry bombs. Yeah. Nobody wants that. Whereas this stuff, you know, back. I could have recorded my last album in a tiny garage.
Absolutely.
The tech is fantastic.
Yeah. A couple of quick fire ones for you. Well, this is a question, not a question. This interview is great. Thanks a lot. That's from Paul Holmes. Thank you. Hope you're enjoying that. There was another really easy one for you to answer. I know the answer to this, but I just want you to, where is it now? It's, is Brian a red or a blue?
I'm a red. Yeah.
Absolutely.
But you know what? I will say that because I lived in London for 34 years, I don't have any axe to grind with the Toffee men. And when I lived in London, it was always North v South. So if it's Man United or Everton playing Arsenal or Tottenham, then I want the Northern team to win.
Yeah. Because you're not too far from the new Everton Stadium, are you? Just down
the road,
I
can see it. It's lit up beautifully tonight in purple. I'm not sure what that's for, as is the Liver building. I'm sure there's some significance to that.
Nice one. Nick wants to know, as a guitarist, what was your feeling on the whole revolutionary production systems that were so key to that 80s sound? I mean, you know, obviously you're a guitarist, not necessarily a synth head. Were you fighting against the synths a lot as a guitarist?
No, they do great things. I say like we all bought a synth. We all bought a synth when and Ped bought like what was it, the Oberheim DMX drum machine.
Yeah, DMX, yeah.
Yeah, Mark bought, can't remember what it was, JX10. And we had the Jupiter 8 and I had the Juno. Yep. So we were into that and the MC500 and using it as learning how to use those tools. By the time kind of post Frankie, post Liverpool, we were all over that. All over the tech and the gear, because it can do amazing things.
Yeah.
I'll tell you a funny story, actually, as for the keyboard players. I don't know how, but Herbie Hancock ended up being back at Mark's flat one night. And he's in Mark's little studio, which was just like a box room in his gaff. And Mark, he played the piano when Mark recorded it into the MC500. We come down there the next day, he's going, guess who was in here last night?
No way.
Boss, fucking Herbie Hancock, lad. Herbie Hancock was sitting here playing.
Jeez.
Yeah. So, and that would have been after like Rocket, not around all that time. People,
Yeah.
People's first exposure to Herbie Hancock. I think that's probably why he was in the country.
Yeah, true.
But no, love the tech.
Yeah.
Never been afraid of computers.
No.
But yeah, you got to have a song first.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. If you had to pick one guitar as your Desert Island Discs guitar, and one record, what would those be? Guitar and record.
Well, I've got a Washburn RR 150, which is a Sammy Hagar red rocker. There was only 100 of them made, 50 in red and 50 in black, and I've got one of each. And they weren't a lot of money. And when I got it as a replacement for one that I'd used on tour. Used to use on Pleasuredome. And I've been using that for 20 years, so that's mine, and it's like it's played in. But if I'm going to the desert island, I haven't got an amp, and it's body. So I'd take. I've recently, 3 years ago, bought a Martin Treble 018.
Okay.
Which is like a parlor-sized Martin, and I think it's beautiful. I don't play it enough. I played it the other day when I was playing with the two ladies, and it's a lovely guitar to play. I bought it because my mate had one. One record.
Yeah.
What would oh God.
It's like trying to choose your favourite child, isn't it?
Spirit of Eden. If you put a gun to me, I'd Spirit of Eden. Because if I'm sitting on a desert island thinking nobody's going to come for me,
that's
I'm
what you want.
Rubbing sticks together to make fire. Spirit of Eden would always make me feel good.
Absolutely. Well, talking to that, which kinds of bands and music do you like? And let's just make that about today. Is there anything that really floats your boat today?
Well, the two girls I went to see the other day, me and DeBo, really good. I caught them. I was actually playing at a gig at the Music Room, and they were on the same bill. It was a bunch of artists that were associated with Ian Prowser's Monday Club, taken into a much nicer surrounding. Well, that sounds like I'm slagging off the cavern, but the sound in the Music Room is exceptional, and I'd never seen these girls play before, and it was like, wow, that's good, that's quality. Who else? Oh. The last gig I went to that really excited me was Kneecap.
Oh yes, yeah.
I went to see Kneecap at the O2 Academy here, and it really reminded me of being a kid and going to gigs. And when you go into gigs and it's crackling, and you know it's you can feel there's the energy in the room. And there was a band that I followed for a little bit here called Bonk. Their Instagram is a band called Bonk, who are kind of like mad jazz. I'm going to see Pendulum in Manchester.
Oh, yeah.
Because my mate Perry plays guitar for them, and I'd love to go and spend some time with Perry.
Nice.
I just love going to gigs, and everything is a critique, and that's just the way it is. I accept that. So the stuff that excites me is very few and far between. I went to see Snarky Puppy at Manchester Apollo, the first time I've been in the building since I played there. It's quite cool. And they were amazing. I love the Blue Nile. The Blue Nile is my funeral music.
Okay.
I will close. You can close the curtains to Peace at Last for me, or Happiness rather. I don't really listen to a lot of music. I've got tinnitus, but you know what I've just bought? Actually, I've got to go and collect it in a minute. I bought a little crappy record player for my grandkids, so I'm going to get some singles out for them to play and see how they vibe on that. Yeah.
What was your favourite second act on ZTT? Did you have a particular band label mate?
Oh, it'd be Propaganda, you know.
Yeah.
Propaganda, yeah, because they were really cool, nice people, you know. And you know, it's a bit of a culture shock for them meeting Scout, like, you know, you're talking about me, Mark, and Pat. It's kind of a bit of a culture shock. So I don't really think they really knew how to, I don't know, how to take us really. But Jewel is, I still love hearing Jewel.
Yeah,
when it pops up on the radio. They get even less airplay than us.
Well, you say that, but is it coming out at the same time as Pleasuredome, or is it coming out a little bit after? They're reissuing Secret Wish, you know, the first album, in a similar sort of box set way, and with a 5.1 Atmos mix done by David Corsten, I think. So yeah, it seems like the whole ZTT, there's a bit of a ZTT resurgence. And Claudia's still going. I mean, I've been to see Claudia a number of times, and Michael and Ralph are still doing a side project as well. They're actually, I think they own the name Propaganda, and Claudia's done this ex-Propaganda thing. But yeah, there's still a lot of love out there for that.
Wasn't Claudia doing something with Mr. Humphreys from OMD?
Well, yeah, that was some while ago. Not the two of us. That was the New Order people. I can't remember the name of the act. But yeah, she was married to Paul for a long while. I think they've since split. But yeah, I saw her at the Scala in King's Cross some years ago, and Paul was on keyboards there, and she was doing kind of like a greatest hits thing. But yeah, they're great. I love.
Go, I'd go and see her if she was playing it. I'm not traveling. I'm not traveling, Rob. I'm not getting a train to go and see her. She'll have to be 25 minutes walk away.
Well, see, you're lucky you live in Liverpool. Most bands come to Liverpool. Where I am, I literally have to travel.
Bleeding Manchester.
Oh, it's all Manchester, is it? Yeah.
Still going to Manchester. You got to come to Liverpool. Swear it started. Oh, one gig I have to mention. Referring back to the question previously, Ricky Lee Jones. I went to see Ricky Lee Jones at the Union Chapel and cried 4 times.
Yeah.
It was just exceptional. I love Ricky. I want to get Ricky Lee to come to Liverpool so I can take her around the city. Yeah. She's one of the patron saints. And anybody listening to this, if you're into your live music, just go and see her. She's an absolute queen.
Yeah, absolutely. I was just saying when you went off to answer the call of nature, I went to see the artist formerly known as Terence Trent D'Arby, who now is known as Sananda Maitreya. My God, he's still got that voice. It's just, he's not, you know, as singers get older and their voice drops a few semitones and they have to drop everything down a key or two.
Yeah.
Not him. It's just incredible. I've never seen him live before, and he came and played a little club in Norwich, and he just blew the whole place away. It was just incredible.
Well, talking of seeing him for the first time, I'm going to see Gary Newman.
Oh yeah, me too.
For the first time, he's playing up here. Yeah. I love a bit of that.
I've seen him a few times. There's some friends of his, friends of mine. They've supported him on a number of tours, and they actually got me backstage a few tours ago when he did Norwich, and I had because he was, for me, like a lot of us in this channel, he opened the door for us when it came to synthesizers and electronic music. He was the one that, you know, we all heard and went, what the hell's that, and, you know, how can we play it? And I almost got to have a chat with him, but apparently the bus had got in late. The equipment he was in a foul mood, so I was just told don't approach him, so I didn't, which is a big regret.
Do you want to hear a great Gary Newman story?
Go on, I'd love to hear it.
I had Andrew Coughlin, Wally Coughlin, who plays with him. What was the Berserker? I think.
Oh yeah, Berserker. Yeah,
Berserker tour. Yeah. So Wally was saying they were playing in Liverpool, and Wally knew this girl who he'd known for years, really good looking girl, and she's backstage and I was chatting to Wally, and he said like Newman had to come over and gag in and be like, where, you know, like where the action is, what's Wally doing with this bird? So this girl's having this conversation with Wally, and Newman keeps trying to interject, and this scouse bird just goes to him, I wish you'd shut up, you're getting on my nerves, you divvy. And Wally's like dying to laugh.
Oh,
He's
God.
in front of the boss, like he can't. But I'm looking forward to see him because
He's very good
I
live.
know Steve Monty as well, who did
Oh, yeah.
some work when him and Rob Halliday when he wanted to turn into Marilyn Manson. So I know he make respect to him. He's still out there doing it and he's smashing it.
Yeah.
And selling out venues. Fucking yeah, go for it.
He does an album, and then he does a legacy album tour, and then he does a new album. So he's still putting it out there, and his live shows are really good. You will enjoy it.
Yeah, cool.
Let's see. We've got a couple more. I've got a couple of questions myself. So Steve's asking, where does your inspiration come from? Do you start with a riff, a phrase, or a feeling, or something else?
I've done all three. It's and it falls out. I'm not someone who gets up in the morning and goes, right, let's write a song. There has to be something that inspires it. So the track, the opening track on my last album is called Salt in Our Veins, which is about Liverpool. And I had this title in my head for 2 years, and I've got this riff and I'm strumming it, and I've got this idea of salt in our veins, and the line that came out was, "My sisters and brothers were not like the others because we're not like the rest of this country." That's not Scouse superiority. It's just, well, you know, Rob, you come to the city. There's a different feeling here, isn't it?
Oh,
There's a different
it's
vibe
a special
here.
place, yeah.
And which led me to write the history of Liverpool, which is so broad and so varied. It's very easy to pick, you know, two dozen lines out of it and make it rhyme. I don't know really. It comes, the stuff. I've got words that I can't get music to. There has to be a subject. There has to be. So the titles on my next album, there's a song called Motown, which was influenced by Julian Temple's documentary Requiem for Detroit, which was amazing, but also Michael Moore's films about Flint, and also about Flint Town. So I wanted to write not a Requiem to Detroit, but a song of praise for Detroit. But the beginning of it is complete negativity, but it has to end with Smokey Robinson and the Miracles and all of that stuff. Wrote a song about a mate who's a minge bag called Minge Bag, and the first line of that is tighter than the submarine door. So that's just basically a list of well-known phrases for people who are tight.
Brilliant. Excellent. I was going to ask you, just to sort of round things up here. So obviously we've got the Pleasuredome reissue, which you've said has kind of brought you five guys back together to talk these things through and, you know, go through the various bits and bobs. And anyone this side of the Atlantic knows about Eurovision, and you guys got back together, which was a big deal for a lot of us, you know, to see you five guys back on the stage, and you did Pleasuredome for that. And it was great fun to see. Obviously I was watching you and I could see that you were having a lot of fun with your old mates again. Has this process with, you know, Eurovision and Pleasuredome, has it brought you closer? You know, as Nick Howe says in the chat, if Emily Evis came up to you guys and said, "Legend slot, Glastonbury," would you?
No, I don't want to do it. No.
You said that to me before, but
it's the Eurovision thing. If you want me to talk, because I think I'll probably explain this story to you, but for people who'd never heard it before. So that comes about through Universal, and we just get an email that gets sent out that someone says, "Hey, we're doing the Eurovision stuff for the BBC, and we're going to be in Liverpool for the whole week. Wouldn't it be great to start the whole Eurovision thing with Frankie Goes to Hollywood playing Welcome to the Pleasuredome at St. George's Hall with 600 drones?" I responded like I always do, said, "No, it's not for me." And then 2 days later, I get a phone call from Ped, and Ped goes, "So you're out, because this is the way we are, and with the way we talk to each other. We talk to each other exactly like we did 40 years ago."
Yeah.
And I said, "Yeah, I don't want to do it." "Why? Why are you ringing me? Because there must be a reason why you're calling me." He said, "Well, I spoke to Mark, and he quite fancies it, and I quite fancy it." And I went, well, if you're doing it, then I'll do it. Which goes back to the question about our relationship. There's been periods of silence between us, but the three of us are as tight as we were back then. And we shared an experience that nobody else outside of us, the people who know and love us, know what it was like to be in that experience. And for the good and bad of it, we're the only people who can talk about it because it happened to us. But anyway, the Eurovision thing, Mark O'Toole summed it up perfectly. I've come here to cut the head off the monster, which was, it was great. If Eurovision would have been in Bath or Munich or wherever, it wouldn't have happened. It only happened because it was in Liverpool. It was great. I got to go to a match with Mark. John Gibbons, my friend at the Anfield Rap, gave up him and his wife's tickets for the match. So me and Mark could go, and that was fantastic. And the post the Eurovision show, we had the bridewell to ourselves after about 10:30, because we didn't get there till about 10:30 really, and then people are starting to go home because it was a Sunday night, and we were in there till 4:30 in the morning. And I'd organised like a dozen Frankie fans. Those people who I mentioned earlier were in my phone. You come in and I'll sort you out here, and don't be casing anyone, just be cool, you know, because this is our close and personals in here. And it was fantastic. And getting to, you know, first time seeing Marie and Julie Muscatelli, the Leather Pets together, and the boat just fab, and the boat exactly how you remember them. We don't change, our environments change, but and our circumstances change. Sometimes our mental health changes, but once you get back in the room with those people, and there was so much love in there to have all of these people back together, that to do that Eurovision thing and to go to this party afterwards, and the lady who runs the bridewell, who owns the bridewell, Fiona, her first gig was seeing Frankie at the Royal Court at Christmas 1984. So that's like, it was a brilliant, it was just one of those things that I felt right to do it there, and it was great. And the testimony to how good it was as a night out was me, Mark, Ped and Paul and our respective partners with 8 of the last 10 people to leave there at 4:30 in the morning. And it was a really good night, and that's where it should end. I think, you know, I'm 62 years of age. I'm a funeral celebrant. I'm a part-time musician. I just turn up like a UFO sighting in strange places, as Bill Hicks said. And it's like, I love what I do now, and the idea of going out to do anything like that, I'm not interested. I don't want any more money. I'm all right. More money's just I could give money to my kids and all. It's not about that. It's about being 62. If you know, I'm near the front of the queue now. There's nothing wrong with me. I'm fit. I'm well. If I'm lucky, I've got 20 years left. I don't want to spend any of that 20 years doing stuff that I don't really want to do just for money.
Completely respect that.
It's just, I'm having the, well, mate, when you came up here, you can tell, you spent a good few hours with it. We had a few beers. You can tell I'm living my best life here, innit, you know, and I just don't want the complications of any of that. I don't want 4 weeks of rehearsals. I don't want to turn my back on the people who've been employing me to do this job that I do. And I love them. The boss, they've absolutely gifted me a career so late in my life. At you know, 57 years of age when I did my first one. And I can do this for another 10 years. And it's an honour. And it's brilliant.
Just to be clear, because people might not know, you did mention it, but you are a humanist celebrant now. So
I'm not a humanist. I'll give you an Our Father. The humanist won't give you an Hail Mary, mate. No, I'm a funeral celebrant, and every ceremony that I do is an individual to the person who's passed, and I get to go and see the families, and I sit there with a recorder and I plan the ceremony with them. and they talk about their loved ones for an hour, and I go home and I listen to that recording and write about them. And they're just incredible stories of every single one of these people are legends. And if this is the message that I would want to send to people, our older people, we all live fast lives, and we don't have enough time to do the things we want to do, because we're dominated by the things that we have to do, or we think we have to do, and sometimes people get squeezed out of that. And myself now as a granddad, next week I'm going to Euro Disney with my grandkids, and it's just going to be mental. It's going to be brilliant for a week. And every time I do a funeral for an old boy, I get a reminder of what it is to be a granddad, and these guys are role models to me in how they are and how young people speak about them. I did one yesterday. His granddaughter, who's in her 20s, said, "It's been lovely growing old. It's been lovely watching you grow old, as it was watching you when I was growing up," or something like that. I've said that really badly. I've read it down so badly, but it's just such an amazing job, and I like the writing, and I've got a style, and I can make people feel comfortable. I know that if I go into somebody's home, when I leave them an hour later, they're going to feel a whole lot better about what's going to happen. I think if you're lucky in life, you'd only ever have to do one funeral, and that's for your surviving relative. But spend time with the old folks, man. They got stories.
Oh yeah.
And record them. We have the means to do it. Just record some of their stories. I kind of actively go out of my way to engage people. So when I go to the laundrette in Liverpool 8, and there's two women sitting there, and when I say in the 60s, when there's two people sitting there my age, I'll start talking to them and just find out what they're doing. Oh, you've been in New Zealand for 37 years. Wow, the great stories. Two ladies, who were two sisters of 10 people, a family of 10.
Wow. Yeah, no, it must be a real privilege. It must be a real privilege.
Mate. It is. It's a privilege and an honor.
Yeah. If you want to know about Brian's celebrant work, if you scan that QR code, it'll take you to his website, nashofthecelebrant.com is all you need to know. It's all there.
You've just done that like Tommy Cooper.
I know. If you want to buy the box set, you can just click on the QR code now, and that'll take you to the Universal website where you can buy the box set. There's a vinyl version, there's a CD version as well. The 2 CD version comes with a selection of the extra stuff. The box set has everything, including the Atmos mixes. There's a new version of the vinyl with Stephen Wilson's new stereo mix, if I'm not mistaken. So there's plenty of options. So go and fill your boots there. And just get one plug-in for ourselves. That QR code takes you to our new Discord server. So if you want to jump in there and engage with all the people that watch the show and are supporting the show, we've got a Discord server right there. So if you want to pause the video at any time and go and scan those QR codes in, that'll take you to all the right places. Well, Brian Nash, whatever. It's been it's always an absolute joy to speak with you. You are such a fascinating gentleman. You've got an immense history. I'm sure I said this the last time we met. Thank you for what you've done musically, because it moved me, it inspired me. It still does to this day. I still wear the t-shirts.
Nice one, man.
I still listen to the music. I've deliberately not listened to Pleasuredome for a few weeks now, because I'm just saving myself for next week, and I'm just going to
having a detox.
Just going all in. That's it. Want to hear it fresh again.
Go on, lad.
That's it.
Yeah.
But listen, thank you so much for doing this. I wasn't sure when I said to Jackie, I said, I'm going to text Brian. I'm just going to ask him if he wants to pop on the show. And I know that, sometimes the history thing can sometimes bring up but I know that it's got better for you in the last few years. And so I thought, yeah, why not? And you said yes straight away. And I really, really appreciate that.
Hey, man, no, it's great. Look, it's product, and it's we're talking about it. And you're great on the other side of the mic. It's good. It's not awkward. It's not forced. It's a good vibe. And you know, if people want to find it, they can find it, can't they? And,
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
listen to me ranting and talking nonsense. Yeah.
Well, so I was a little, a little worried that you wouldn't do it, and but you did, and you've been an
all day
absolute
long,
star.
mate. All day
You're an
long.
absolute star. And by the way, the Juno is up there. It's all fixed and repaired and singing like a bird. It's beautiful.
Lovely.
So that's all, and the Korg is in the rack. It's all working there. I've even got the SDE wired in, the delay that you so graciously
gave you
gave.
the cards for the Korg? Did I find?
I think there was 2 or 3 in there.
They were like the standard Korg cards.
Yeah.
All
There
good,
was
mate.
some third party stuff in there. Yeah, it was really good. No, it's brilliant. Thank you so much for those. They are. And if you want the Juno for a photo shoot for the Liverpool reissue, then just give us a bell. Throw it in there. Listen, Brian, thank you so much for
Nice
joining
one,
us.
mate.
I really
absolute
appreciate
pleasure.
it.
And hope everyone has a boss weekend.
Yeah, you too, mate. Enjoy Euro Disney. That's going to be fantastic, I'm sure.
It's going to be something, isn't it?
Yeah, it's definitely expensive.
Yes.
Indeed.
Hey,
Listen, love to you and love to
weekend.
everyone there, mate. Enjoy. Hope to see you again soon. Thank you ever so much. Brian Nash, everyone.
Hey, cheers, Rob.
Cheers, mate.
Thanks.
We will be back same time, same place next week. As I said before, we've got Dan Phillips coming on the show. The week after that, we've got Guido from GS Music coming on the show as well. So make sure you subscribe and give us a thumbs up if you want to. That would be fantastic. And I think what else can we promote? Oh, yeah, don't forget to go and see AnthonyMarinelli.com for your chance to win that Groove Synthesis third wave. Brian Nash is just a legend, and I'm so happy that he came on and talked about Frankie and the history and the recording and everything, and I hope you all enjoyed it. We'll be back to our kind of regular format next week with the panel back, and of course we've got Dan Phillips coming in, and Anthony Marinelli will be dropping in next week to tell us all about that event that he's doing, the competition. So thank you for joining us. This is why I really do enjoy having Kent and Andy and anybody else, Scott and Jason coming in, because to do this on my own, I'm going to go and put my feet up now and have a glass of wine. Thanks ever so much. And if you were a first time visitor here, because you found us on the Frankie channels and you've come along, or you're watching us on Catch Up, welcome. I hope you enjoyed that. And yeah, maybe I've got one or two of the little facts wrong, because you get a little bit flustered in a live situation, so don't hold it against me. But thanks ever so much for joining. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and give us a thumbs up. And I think there was something else I was going to do or say. I can't remember what it was. It's all gone completely out of my head. Oh, that's it. I was going to pay respects to all of these people that sent in money during the show. Thank you so much. Andrew Longhurst, £2.90. Thank you very much. Mickey, is it Mickey C or Mike C? I don't know. But whatever, I hope I haven't offended you. You've become a YouTube channel member. You've also been donating plenty of money during the show. Thank you very much indeed for your donations. There's one right there. And there was another one here. And there was another one there. And these are all different donations, so thank you so much. Nick gifted a ProSynth Network membership to someone, so I hope that has been taken up. Maybe that was what Mikey C took up. I don't know. Homegrown, great guest, speaking my native tongue. Here's a little something towards subtitles for everyone else. Thank you very much for that. Amanda Chowdhury, this space is intentionally left blank. $7. Really appreciate all of your donations. You are fantastic, and I hope you enjoyed that show. We'll be back same time, same place next week. Until then, stay safe. Have a fantastic weekend. Make lots and lots of music. And we will see you all on the flip side. Let me just get rid of that on there and say goodbye to you all. Have a good one. Bye-bye.